Leader of the third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. 2 weeks ago, my colleague asked about BBC and CBC reports that have shown that Drax, a UK energy giant, is turning whole trees from primary forests in BC into pellets to burn. The Minister said, no, they are not. She said that Drax is not using whole trees or primary forests for wood pellets. Those comments are on the record. We have a copy of the Minister's estimates binder from earlier this year. On page 66, there's a note that says, confidential, for Minister's use only. An estimated 75% of fibre for pellet processing facilities comes from sawmill residuals. In other words, at least a quarter of the fibre used in wood pellets is not sawmill waste. The BBC and CBC both have video evidence showing whole trees being cut, transported, and processed at the Drax site. My questions for you, Honourable Speaker, to the Minister of Forests. Does the Minister want to try again to answer the question, are whole trees from primary forests being turned into wood pellets in BC?
Minister of Forests.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I will try to ensure that I say it so that the member understands. So yes, I will try again. So the ministry actively monitors the input used by pellet sectors in BC, and they are made almost entirely from waste. 90% comes from sawdust, shavings, chips, and harvest residuals. You know, BC is a really important source of bioeconomy for many countries, and that source is transitioning away from coal-fired power. Now, it's better to turn waste into bioenergy that displaces fossil fuels instead of burning it in open slash piles or leaving it on the ground, which creates even more GHG. The reality is that no one is turning whole forests into pellets. The reality is that those logs were taken to sawmills. In fact, 2 sawmills that turned them into saw logs. No one in their right mind would take a saw log, a perfectly good piece of timber, and turn it into pellets. Saw logs are going for $150 a cubic meters. Pellets are going for $25. Logs that are used for pellets are going for $25. Those are logs that have been burnt that can't be used in a sawmill. Those are logs that have been affected by the pine beetle that can't be used in sawmills. Those are logs that are have been rotten and are creating GHG in the economy, or in the environment, sorry. You know, so pellet mills only use low-quality logs that can't be used in sawmills.
Thank you. Leader of the third party, supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And
members, please continue.
I think it would just be so much easier for the public and the rest of us if we could get direct and clear responses. The Minister very carefully used the words almost entirely. She very carefully did not say there are no whole trees from primary forests being turned into wood pellets. The Minister's allegiance to Drax is fascinating. In 2021, this company took control of 66% of the wood pellet production in this province, monopolizing the industry. In 2022, the former chief forester resigned her position and assumed a vice presidency role in this giant corporation. A giant corporation that lobbies this government regularly. In fact, several experts have called for the Competition Bureau of Canada to review Drax's activities in BC. Honourable Speaker, through you, I'll ask the question in a way that the Minister can understand. Trust is the currency of democracy. The public has seen reliable reports from international renowned media agencies with video footage to back up their claims. Is the minister calling the reports of the BBC and the CBC false?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I will make sure that I put accurate information on the record, which is something that I have always done. So again, not all harvested logs are suitable to be turned into pellets. Some of them are too small, they've been damaged, it's either beetle killed, fire, I've already talked about that. So some logs are processed, but it is very, very few. In fact, these logs represent less than 0.5%. 0.5% of the total provincial harvest. 0.5%. You know, we know that logs are $150 a cubic meter. No one is going to process a log that should be turned into a saw log into pellets. That is not happening in this province. And I mean, I have mentioned in the media that I felt that some of the information said in both the films were inaccurate. When we were asked to provide information, we did. It was not published. So again, less than 0.5% of the total provincial harvest goes into, that is, whole logs go into a pellet mill, and those are logs that cannot be utilized anywhere else in the saw log industry. You're welcome.